oldest continuously inhabited city in the world, Damascus boasts a wide spectrum of cultural backgrounds that compound together to form the city, as well as the country's shape and taste and form. Syria has a unique religious mix. Like spices, they all integrate with each other in harmony on one of the Silk Road's most important stops.
However, 2 years ago, the government gave orders to create a committee that was given the task of writing a new personal status law. The committee, which remained anonymous, excluded major representatives of the Syrian cultural and religious spectrum, as Mr. Muhammad Habash, a member of the parliament and director of the Islamic Studies Center in Damascus, echoed. The Prime Minister gave permission to the former Minister of Justice to choose the committee, but unfortunately, he only chose from one corner of the Syrian society, he said. The new reforms shocked the Syrian civil activists due to its extreme Islamic content and incoherence with the Syrian constitution. One of the most controversial articles in the draft law was Article 21. It prescribed the creation of a legal body which, among other powers, has the authority to divorce a couple without their consent if one of them is deemed to be a murtad, which is a Muslim who has renounced his or her faith. Other parts of the proposed law, lambasted by critics, included Articles 63 and 92, which prohibit secular people from marrying. Activists were also angry. The draft law still contains several clauses which they have long campaigned to change. Just like the current law, Article 45 in the draft law permits boys to marry at the age of 15 and girls at the age of 13. This incident brought together young activists from all Syrian political affiliations and religious backgrounds together. Though they were unable to translate their reaction on ground, they carried it on virtual platforms where they openly discussed these reforms and expressed their reactions to the amendments.
One of the most notable campaigns was launched on the blog social network Facebook. The campaign included a large number of users. The forums in these groups hosted what could be referred to as one of the most heated debates between activists against the reform and those who are defending it. Such groups existed before, yet the ones in this campaign included young people from almost all spectrums of religious backgrounds and political affiliations. Some activists arranged an online copy of the old version and the new version of the law online for everyone to read. Even local newspapers and governmental media outlets were able to express subjective observations about the reform. The restrictions previously imposed by the government on public debates were dissolving, giving space to a new kind of dialogue among everyone. The government, in return, and as a response to people's demands, dropped the controversial draft law, and the Prime Minister said it's rejected, form and content. The draft law, however, remained under study. The draft was only a worksheet, and it's not going to be adopted unless discussed by the ministries, and will not be released before all representatives participate in it. All opinions will be respected, and eventually the last word will be for the parliament to approve any amendments, Mr. Naji Al-Atri said, the Syrian Prime Minister.
Campaigning against the controversial draft law gave way to a new form of civil integration and dialogue in Syria. The campaign that activists launched against this draft law signified progress for civil society. Antoine Musleh, head of St. John Church in Damascus, said, "The boundaries were lifted when it came to criticism of the law. People were more open. A few years ago, this may not have happened." While the future of the Syrian personal status law is yet to be seen, the cultural dialogue the campaign created between the different parts of Syrian society on one hand and with the government on the other hand is nothing to pass by. Indeed, the freezing of the draft law has been labeled by Syrian media as a victory for cultural dialogue and the Syrian civil society.